So it's 50 years, half a century since the lunar landing, the first lunar landing, I should say, and the mission of Apollo 11. A few things I want to say about this. First of all, I watched the documentary film yesterday, Apollo 11, written, directed, and edited by Todd Douglas Miller. Um, I wanted to see something connected with the moon landing, whether it would be this or First Man. I might watch First Man as well if I get a chance. But I wanted to watch something connected with it, being that it is half century. Um, and I have to say, it was a lot better than I thought. I thought, okay, it's going to be an interesting documentary. There's going to be some interviews, some archival footage. There was actually no, few disclaimers here, no well, disclaimers. They landed on the moon, right? But yeah, there's no commentary, there's no interviews. It's just literally archival footage from 1969, from I assume CNN archives and other archives. It really was remarkable, spectacular. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. I mean, I can't overstate the sensation that you had watching this thing on the big screen. It really felt like we're there in 1969. The footage is original, but it's very clear, very crystal clear. Um, and it's not actors. This is Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins. This is it. And the sense of anticipation, the sense of excitement, it was very well done. I'd give it 8 or 9 out of 10. Really, check it out. The only thing I would have liked to see a little bit more of is they showed the sort of crowds gathered around Cape Kennedy in the US. I would have seen a little bit more of the international reaction, maybe people watching around the world. That would have been an added touch. I thought would have thought would be good. It's a documentary. It's quite long, but it's not slow. Check it out. First Man, I can't comment on because I haven't seen it yet, but I understand Ryan Gosling made a very convincing Neil Armstrong. The film's critically acclaimed, although there was some criticism of the omission of the actual flag planting scene, and it's quite sentimental. So the impression I get is First Man is not like Apollo 13. It's not really an action film. It's more a sentimental, very personal film about Armstrong the man. Some of that in Apollo 11 as well. There's not much more to say really. The BBC had a segment last night about specifically about people around the UK watching the moon landing and their recollections of it. I have a newspaper copy of the moon landing. In fact, just get it right now. This is the Daily Mirror first moon landing copy. Very hard not to be inspired by this. It's a marking point. Of course, the lunar missions, the manned lunar missions, only went up to 1972. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 astronauts still alive who actually walked on the moon, Apollo astronauts. But it's very inspiring. I mean, you cannot watch something like that and not be inspired. Um, what else can I say? The Times had a piece on the only woman in the operating control center, Joanne Morgan, because in the trailer kind of focuses on her, and well, the reason is she was actually the only woman among about several hundred men. But very good documentary, and the bravery that those men had. Just one last point. One thing I want to debunk briefly, or take on briefly regarding the conspiracy theories. One of them is, oh well, the moon has no wind, so why do we